In this video, we will be demonstrating how to mount an ISO file to a VMDvd drive while adding the DVD drive to the VM, and also how to mount an ISO file to a pre-configured or pre-installed VMDvd drive. The Get VMDvd drive shows us where the DVD drive is connected, which is the controller number, the controller location, and the path shows that there is no DVD or there's no ISO file connected to it. So now I'm going to use the Add VMDvd drive, pointing to a particular VM. I like to always include the computer name, but if you're doing it local, you don't really need to put the computer name, and the dot in quotation means is this computer, this particular computer, which is the local computer. Normally, if you leave it, it defaults to the local, but I like to always use that. If it's a remote VM, then you specify the name after the computer name. Now, since we are installing a new DVD drive, although we already have an existing one, we're putting it on the same controller number but on a different controller location, which is 1. 0 is already occupied, and the path, now we specify the path where the ISO is currently being located, and I like to use the confirm parameter. And before I execute my command, I like to use the what if. And you can see the command is right. So now I will use the up arrow button and bring back the last command that I did and take out the what if. But I would like to have the pass through and the verbose parameter also, and this will create a new or add a new VMDvd drive, and at the same time mount an ISO file. If you look, it shows you that controller number 1 and controller location. Okay, now when I do a get DVD drive, it shows me there are 2 DVD drives, but one has an ISO file mounted to it while the other one doesn't. Now, using the set VMDvd drive with the same parameters I used for add VMDvd drive, I will just change the controller location and execute the same command almost like the previous, and this will mount an ISO to a pre-existing DVD drive. And as you can see, I'm going to use the get VMDvd drive to display. You see the path now shows that ISO is mounted on both. And I have gone ahead and mounted an ISO to the server that I'm about to install an operating system. So I mounted the OS ISO to the server that I'm going to install, or the VM that I will be installing the server on, the Windows 2012 server. As you can see, the controller type here is SCSI, which is a generation 2 according to how Microsoft specified it. There was a generation 1 which uses an emulator that looks exactly like an IDE emulator, and now on generation 2 they started using what is called synthetic BIOS, which basically uses a SCSI controller type. And as you can see, now I'm going to display, you can see I have 2 DVD and a network, and I can start the installation from here. We will now start the installation of the operating system using the start-vm command, and this will start the VM and resume the installation of the operating system. And the operating system installation has started. And here you make the selection of either to install the standard copy or the data center. You have the first option is always the core installation, but I'm going to do the data center core installation, and then we will upgrade it to a GUI. Accept the licensing agreement. We're going to do a custom installation, being that this is the first installation of the operating system in this VM. But as you can see, there's not enough hard drive space to do a server installation, and so Windows cannot do the installation. I will show you how to expand the VHD drive size using PowerShell command, and also from the GUI window to continue the installation. So by right clicking on the VM and selecting setting, that opens the settings window. Select the hard drive and click edit. Next, on the next window, select the expand radio button, and in the next window you can now resize the VHD drive or the VHDX drive, and this will enable you to do the operating system that we fall short doing in the previous video. Now reconnecting to the Windows Server 2012 R2 installation, selecting the option 2 to boot from the virtual DVD RAM. Click next. Install now. And here you do the selection of the operating system version or type that you want to install. We're going to do the core installation. Next into the next window. Licensing agreement, and next into the next window. And we're doing custom installation. As you can see, the option or the error that we had earlier about not having enough gigabyte of space, now we have 25 gig, and the installation will continue by next into the next window. And I'm going to fast forward this installation to the end. I will restart and finish up the installation of the Server 2012 R2 installation. And now the VM has rebooted to complete the installation of the Windows Server 2012 R2 core. And here is the logon screen. At the first window, it will require you to configure or put in the password that you will be required to administer the server. You type and confirm the password, and that logs you onto the Windows Server 2012 R2 core dashboard, and this is it. You are just given a prompt, and from here I'm gonna go to the PowerShell prompt by typing PowerShell and hitting enter, and I'm going to use the command sconfig to configure the network interface and all the necessary configuration that is needed. And no active network adapter. This shows there's no NIC card or network interface card that is configured on this VM. So we will do that and then continue the installation or the configuration of the NIC network interface. And as you can see, all these options from 1 to 15, any of them that you punch in will give you the option to configure what is associated with. But for now, we're going to select option 14 to shut down the server, and that shuts down the VM.